It's the Memphis Sports Network, WMC Memphis, WMFS HD2 Bartlett Memphis, WMFS FM and HD1 Bartlett, WMFS Memphis, ESPN 790 AM and 92.9 FM ESPN.
Watch the sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me. Where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make some time. Take the family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 here in Memphis, Tennessee. 16 years on the air, and I really am looking forward to talking to this next gentleman. Folks, we don't just talk hunting and fishing. You've experienced that already in today's show. This is Fifth Saturday, which means Charlie Covington, our poet laureate, is in it. If you missed the last segment, you missed Charlie's most recent poem. And, of course, we have the guru of hunter education instruction in Tennessee, and Mr. Gene Smith.
Good morning.
All right, you guys, you ready to listen to this gentleman?
Yeah, this is going to be great.
Yeah, we want to hear about this. My good friend Tom Benson over at the Tennessee Aquarium. Tom has been a great friend of Outdoors with Larry Ray over the years and has supplied us with some really, really super guests. And I think this next gentleman has a story to tell because this is Andreas Fath. He's a university professor from Germany who is swimming the entire 652-mile length of the Tennessee River from Knoxville to Paducah. And if you think that this is really something else, not long ago, Andreas, back in 2014, swam the Rhine River in Germany. And good morning.
Good morning, Larry.
How do you do?
Fine.
All right, now
I'm a bit nervous because I have a lot of miles in front of me.
Yes, you do.
But, I feel prepared.
All right, let's talk a little about yourself, Andreas. How old are you?
I'm 52.
52, and you started swimming when they threw you in the water in the Rhine, and you said, and your parents said, "Swim, Andreas."
Well, when I started the Rhine, I was 49, and I honestly, I promised it to my wife. This was the last long swim track, but now Martin Knoll came around, and we end up with the idea to do the Tennessee River in the same mood, in the same analytical issue.
And this is really your swimming, as I'll try to talk and try not to be too Southern United States on you here, but you're swimming for a reason. So tell our listeners out there why you're doing this.
Yeah, it seems crazy, but with this combination of swimming and science, let's say water analysis, you reach more people than with writing or publish a paper, scientific paper about water quality. And if you be aware that people has a high impact on water quality with their behavior in household and in industry and in hospitals, then it's very important to reach these people. And to reach these people better with a combination of a crazy swim project together with hard analytical data.
And Andreas, I know that you discovered a lot during your swim of the Rhine, which is actually shorter. The Tennessee River is 112 miles shorter than the Rhine. I was just amazed that you talked about the Rhine carries 8 tons of plastic all the way to the North Sea on its surface alone.
8 tons. Mm-hmm.
8. That's just amazing. What about the Tennessee River? Because we know the diversity: 230 fishes, more than 100 freshwater mussels, 70 crayfish. It's the watershed for 150 turtle, salamander species. But at the same time, water pollution, is not only a result of the industrial use, but also the use of unconscious consumer behavior.
Yeah. Well, thanks to the Obama's micro ban, which has forbidden the microplastics in cosmetic articles. This is one impact of microplastics in rivers. Another one is the macroplastic, which is plastic litter which people throw away and it stays in nature, and then if it rains, the all plastic particles, they flushed into the rivers, and then they are crushed down with other stones and with UV light to microplastics. The problem for the biodiversity is for fish living in these rivers or turtles, whatever, they cannot divide plankton from microplastics, so they eat them. And the problem with microplastic is they behave like a magnet. They adhere each POP, which is a persistent organic pollutant,
right,
like antibiotics, pesticides. Every organic trace you find in the river, which has a surface activity, will adhere to this microplastic. So the concentration on these microplastic particles can be much higher than in 1 liter of water. And once this microplastic is incorporated in the body of a fish, let's say, the adhered organic chemicals could be decomposed again, or dissolved again from the particles and go into the organic creature. And then at the end of the day, the food chain ends with the human who eat the fish. And so the higher concentrations of persistent organic pollutants can incorporate it by human. So this is the whole chain, the whole reason why microplastic has so high impact on our health.
Well, I didn't know. I don't know if any of these guys have a questions you guys want to ask Andreas, but I did not know. We're blessed in Memphis to have very good drinking water, we think. But the Tennessee River, I did not know, supplied drinking water for Knoxville and Chattanooga and Huntsville. So we're talking about not only effects on the creatures and critters that are in the Tennessee River, but also us humans, because I know from this swim for science that that what we've got in our rivers is I can't imagine how many tons those of us that spend a lot of time on the water and what we find. I think it's just today's society, Andres, because I can drive around this Memphis community that I've been at for 50 years and see more litter than thrown away litter that's embarrassing. And then I think about boaters now and how many 250,000 registered boaters or whatever.
They sink their plastic with cans. They sink
their plastics with cans and things along that line. So you guys, as you swim, will be doing scientific studies. So this is not just a casual swim down on the Tennessee River all the way to Paducah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. To make people aware of this problem with plastic, and to maybe cause change in their behavior, we filter with some nets for plankton, the water. And at the end of the day, we demonstrate the filters, and we can look with microscopes on the particles to see if we have found plankton or insects or algae or plastics. And then we have the chance to use infrared spectroscopy directly, and within 1 or 2 minutes, you can have the fingerprint of this small particle and compare it to the library. And you say, okay, this is a microplastic which comes from polypropylene, from packaging. This comes from plastic bottles, which is the PPT or whatever.
Wow!
And so to show people what is the change which comes after throwing the literature into nature, and then it ends up with microplastic particles. If you demonstrate to the people the effect of this of their behavior, maybe they then think about changing their behavior.
Well, I think
that's the thing.
What you're doing is, I think you started off by saying it's crazy, but this is what did you learn from your swim of the Rhine that you will use as you swim the Tennessee River? You've done this on the Rhine, that's your homeland. Now, what about the obstacles? What difference is it between the Rhine and the Tennessee River?
I think it's less dangerous to swim the Tennessee River because the Rhine has a high current and rocks at the beginning. It's a wild river.
Yes.
And it was very hard to swim there. But the Tennessee River, it's not so long as the Rhine, but it's heavier. You have to be more active to swim because you have, instead of only one lake, like in the River Rhine, the Lake Constance, now we have 9 lakes without any current.
Yeah.
And the Tennessee River runs slower than the Rhine, between 1 or 2 miles per hour, and the Rhine has 3 or 4 miles per hour sometimes in some areas. So this makes it harder, and therefore I need maybe 31 days instead of 25. And I have learned that the correspondence with the press and with the people, this is very time-consuming, but it's important.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have an important and message with the analytical issue.
Well, I know that we appreciate you taking time to do this. I know you hope...
No problem at the beginning. Maybe it's a small problem during the race when I now have... It's 10 or 8 or 11 o'clock, and then I have 13 kilometers or 20 miles in front of me. And then the time is running, and maybe we don't reach our agenda.
Well, how have you prepared for this, Andreas, as far as getting your body physically ready for this, mentally ready for this, as you did this back? I'm assuming you've been training for this.
Of course, I'm active swimmer since I'm 8 years old, and in my first life, let's say, I was I participated in German championships. I was swimming in the first league in Germany. When I was 25, I stopped a bit because of the PhD and the chemical work.
Yeah.
And then together with my sons, they are They are active, competitive swimmers too.
Okay.
I started again with the open water competitions, and 3 years ago I did the Rhine, and I prepared in the same way as I have prepared now. So I think it could be possible to do this 31 days.
Well, could I talk to Martin just for a second before we get out of here? I'd like a little bit of his touch on this too, if he wouldn't mind.
Yes, of course.
All
Very
right.
important. I just want to find him.
All right, that's okay.
Martin, I hear.
Yeah, the
Larry
Tennessee
likes
River
to
flow
talk to you.
north.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought it would be
Okay.
good.
Yeah, he's here.
All right, Martin.
Bye, Larry. See you.
Okay, thank you, Anderson. Good luck, Martin. I'd like to ask. I'd like to ask you a little question about this because since you,
Sure, Larry, yeah.
he says that you talked him into this. I think he said that, but I don't. I don't know.
Well, yeah, we were kind of did it together.
Your connection with Andreas?
Well, I was in Germany a couple of years ago, and I had done this 100-mile hike.
100-mile hike. I hear you. I'm still.
Yeah. And I was
you hiked
at the end of that, and I was just staying in a bed and breakfast, kind of recuperating, and I read about his Rhine swim in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And then they had some personal information that he has 3 sons, and I said, "Oh, I've got 3 sons." He went to the University of Heidelberg. Gosh, I went to the University of Heidelberg.
Oh, wow.
His sons are swimmers. My sons are swimmers.
Oh.
He grew up in a little town on one side of the Rhine River, and I spent years growing up in a little town on the other side of the Rhine River. So there were all these parallels, and I thought this is too
Neat.
much of a coincidence to be true. So I just wrote him an email and said, hey, look at these similarities in our interests. We both are professors of water quality, too. And
Okay.
I said, how about thinking about maybe swimming a river over here in the States? And that night, he thought about the Tennessee River, and I thought about the Tennessee River independently. And we got back together the next day by email, and
here we are.
Recommended swimming the Tennessee River. And that's how that all got going.
But you do have financial backing. You got some really good people that maybe we could mention. Who's helping coordinate this?
The best, the big financial backers are there are two foundations out of Chattanooga. There's the Riverview Foundation and the Lyndhurst Foundation, and then the other big backer is Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA.
That's great. Yeah. And
then we have a lot of people helping us. Not with money, but in-kind work. They're taking over analytical costs. This company called Perkin-Elmer is doing a huge amount of analysis for free. The Nature Conservancy has been a huge help with the publicity and logistics, and that also goes for IAM's Nature Center up in Knoxville.
Right, that's where
big help.
That's where it started, and as we're we're going along through here, in the Tennessee Aquarium and all these guys.
They're a big help, and they've done a lot for PR, and they're doing a big event sponsoring us on the 3rd and the 4th of August.
Yes, yeah.
And then at the very end, we'll be up at the River Discovery Center in Paducah, Kentucky, and we'll have a sort of a final get-together there with the press when he leaves the Tennessee and empties out into the Ohio River, and the River Discovery Center is right there at that confluence.
And are you traveling with him? Will you be on the ground part? Are you going to be with him till the end?
Yeah, I'll be there every day in a pontoon boat next to him.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, you're there with him,
right? And I'll be there every day, so you can call me if you need more information.
Yeah, we're going to be keeping up with you on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and it's just a fascinating story, and he sounds like, well, why don't you just get in there with him then? I mean,
yeah, he's a swimmer.
Yeah, a swimmer here that.
Yeah, but I used to be a swimmer in an earlier life, and so I'm going to just huck fin it, stay on that raft
and cheering him on.
Everything comes together logistics wise.
So he'll be in the water by himself. I mean, is that right? Is that
yeah?
Okay. Wow.
He's wearing a wetsuit.
Yeah.
Sometimes when there'll be some guest swimmers coming, they'll swim a stretch with him. So when we start off at IAM's Nature Center in Knoxville, he'll probably have 7 or 8 swimmers in the water with him, but they will only go a mile or 2 or 3 miles.
And somebody else
coming to Chattanooga. I think all the Chattanooga open water swimmers, a bunch of them will be there.
And
they'll swim several miles into Chattanooga. But he likes company. He likes swimmers in the water with him because it gets boring.
Yeah.
And it peps him up to have somebody next to him. So
well, I can understand that. Some people ask me about swim the suck. That's something. That's an interesting thing. We may talk about that on a later show. It's already sold out for October.
Sure.
A sold out. Now they're going to swim the Tennessee River Gorge. This group, I think 127, which is a pretty cool event on that. But we may talk to you a little later about that, Martin. Okay?
Yeah, because Andreas did swim it a couple of years ago and did really well.
Yeah, well, I looked all that up, and because I'm pretty versatile. All right, we're going to try to hook up with you maybe in a couple of weeks, get down the road here and find out what's going on. Martin, thank you for helping us with this, and we'll be pulling for Andreas and as he does this challenge, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and have a great day. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Take off our wetsuits, swimsuits, and Charlie, you should see Charlie in this, this Speedo. Charlie should not have worn that this morning over there,
I'm glad this is radio.
Yeah, I'm glad this is radio. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
You can find out